Hi, hello, welcome to Prerak Patashala. If you are watching this video in different times, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Before we begin, remember this every minute you spend learning today is an investment in your future. So stay focused, stay curious, and stay connected. Okay, so before we begin this lesson, I want you to show you a few interesting pictures. Look at them carefully, try to think about what they might mean or how they are connected. These images will help you understand today's topic more deeply. So, watch closely and let's your mind explore. So, the first one is melting of ice. What we need to focus here, this is the main thing in these pictures. So ice is made up of water, and when we melt, what will be produced? Nothing, water itself. So here water is in two forms. One is liquid, another one is ice. So water ಯಾವ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೆಲ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಐಸ್ದಾಗ ಹೆಂಗಂದ್ರೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಮೆಲ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಐಸ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಇಂದನೇ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಮೆಲ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಕರಗಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ? ನೀರೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಇಸ್ ಬರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಕ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್. So here candle. Okay, so when we have candle, it does not burn until we lit it. Okay, or light it. So until light it, it will be in a candle shape, but when we lit it, what will happen? It will start to burn and gives fire or flame and light. Now, before burning, it was candle itself, but after that what happened? There is something is formed, which is light or flame. Okay, so before the first image, that is melting of ice and liquid water, both are water, no new substances is created. But in here, before burning a candle, candle was there, after burning there was a light or flame. Okay, so try to connect these type of things in the upcoming pictures. Rusting of iron, so I think you have saw so many iron nails, mole. Okay, so when we purchase them or when we look at them, when we bought them, they are kind of shiny. Okay, after some days when we expose them into atmosphere, what will happen? Some things will be formed on that. Okay, so some things will be formed on that. Now there is something formed, before it was not present, after exposing it to atmosphere it was formed. So just we have to observe this kind of features in the pictures. Is it anything is formed or nothing is formed? Okay, next image is boiling water. We have two kinds of images. One is below the vessel or in the vessel, and above the vessel. So in the vessel, what will you see? Water. Okay, and above the vessel you see steam or water vapor. Okay, so water vapor is in the form of gaseous state, and water in the vessel is in the form of liquid state. So both of them are water itself, so nothing is formed. So I think you have know some how to differentiate or how to describe the features of the pictures. Okay, so this one, I will let you think about this image, and if you have time, just comment it. What are the things are going to happen here? Okay, so last I will tell what are the features of this image. Okay, so tearing a paper. So when we tear a paper, okay, when we tear 100 times or 1,000 times a paper, it will be a paper itself. It does not call anything. Okay, so I think in here no nothing is produced. And digestion of food. Okay, so in your previous class nutrition in animals, you have already studied about digestion. Okay, so in digestion what will happen? Complex substances are break down into simpler substances. These things, So many things are formed here. Okay, so remember it. And then freezing of water, again this is also a good example for water. Okay, so water is in the form of three states: gaseous, liquid, and solid. So when we have liquid water, when we freeze them, it will take solid shapes. So lighting a matchstick. So similar to burning candle, lighting a matchstick. So you will also notice some similarities between lighting a matchstick and burning candle. Then mixing salt in water. So now, these both are two different substances, but when we mix, we call it as a salt water. Okay, but can we separate them? Why need to separate them? Why? So these kind of things also very important to us. Okay, so if you have paper, if I tear paper, can I repair it, or can I be make how they are in the original shape? Yes. Okay, so basically it is not possible, but if we try it will be possible. So now mixing salt in water, so salt water. So can we separate salt and water separately? The answer is yes. So in your sixth standard, I think you have learned about evaporation. So in that, salt is obtained from the evaporation by separating or by evaporating the water. Okay. So we have seen some pictures. So why we see some pictures and how they are related. Okay, so example, mixing salt in water, then freezing of water, and tearing of paper, then boiling of water. In here, do you think any new substances is created? See, any new substances is created, salt water, then nothing but salt and water. If and we will again can we it is easy to separate salt and water. Again, freezing of water. Okay, so we can freeze the water, or we can vapor the water, or we can melt the ice. Okay, so it is very easy. Tearing of paper. If you tear the paper, paper is paper itself only. So nothing changes. And boiling water again. If we condense the boiling water, it will again take a liquid. So in here, can we call any changes happens here? Yes, of course changes happen. Okay, so tearing paper, when we tear the paper, changes happens. But these changes we categorize as a physical change. Okay, so what do you mean by physical change? We will look into it. Okay, so again, physical changes examples are melting of ice, burning candle. Is this a proper example for physical change? Can we call it as a physical change? See, in here, melting of ice is made up of water, and if you melt the ice, it will be water itself. But candle is candle, but we burn, it will start to melt and it will give flame. So it is not physical change. Then which change it is? Okay, so we will look similar pictures. See, lighting a matchstick, burning of candle, cooking of food, digestion of food, all comes under chemical change. Okay, so cooking of food. So when we start to cook the food, we need to bring the food into as simple as that. Okay, so I have different kinds of spices, rice, chicken. Okay, so when I cook it, I call it as chicken biryani. Okay, so now chicken biryani is a new substance, okay, which is formed by the a type of ingredient. Okay, so digestion of food, as you all know that digestion of food is also chemical change, because so many chemical processes are taken place. So based on all these changes, we are going to start a new lesson, that is physical and chemical changes. So today we are going to learn about physical and chemical changes, that is chapter 5th. So in your textbook, they have given some activities. Okay, so we will explore those activities and what they are trying to convince to us. So first activity is Activity 5.1 Physical changes. Okay, so cut a piece of paper in square pieces. This is very simple sentence, but we need to observe very carefully here. So cut a piece of paper in four square pieces. They are given square. It is very important. Cut each square pieces further into four square pieces. Then lay these pieces on the floor or table so that the pieces acquire the shape of the original piece of paper. Now, originally it was something, and after cutting the paper, it is something else. Okay, so the original shape is different, and after cutting, the shape is different. So obviously, you cannot join these piece back to make the original piece. So we cannot make as original, but we will, if we try it, it is possible to make original paper. Okay, so but is there a change in the property of the paper? So which are the properties? Let's see. So this is the paper. First we need to cut the piece in four squares. Then again in that square again we need to cut in four shapes. So all these shapes are square. Okay, so shape square, then color is same, color does not changes. Then composition, so all these we call it as paper, even though it is large or big or small, we call it as paper. So what has changed then? So the change is size. So before a original size was there, after small changes were happen. Okay, so is there a change in the property of the paper? Yes, the answer is yes, that is size. So what is the conclusion of this activity? So there is a change of property of the paper. Even though the shape and size of the paper have changed after cutting, its basic properties like color, texture, and composition remains the same. So it's still paper. It has not become a new substance. It is paper itself. It does not change. Since the shape or size changes, that does not means it is a new substance. Okay, so it is a same substance. Next one is 5.2 activity 5.2. Collect the chalk dust laying on the floor near the chalkboard in your classroom, or crush a small piece of chalk into dust. Add little water to the dust to make paste. Roll into the shape of piece of chalk. Let it dry. Did you recur chalk from the dust? So what they have told in here is we need to collect some chalk dust, or we need to crush some chalk, and we need to make paste. Then we need to give a shape. So can we really make this happen? So just think about that. We have sand and we have cement, and if I pour water and give a shape, does the shape acquire? Yes, the answer is yes. So normally a solid chalk, when we crush into a powder and we make paste, again if you give some shape to it, it will be a as before that. Not exactly as, but it will have a shape. So what are the observation here? The composition of chalk remains the same. See, it was chalk earlier. After that, it is also chalk. So when we produce, or when we mix with powder with water, it does not change. Okay, so no new substances is formed. Do you think anything is formed new? No. So only the form and appearance change. Form, which form? Powder form into solid form, only that. Okay, so what we need to know here is solid, which was basically at the starting, then powder, then paste, again solid again. So it is reversible to some extent. So why we need to focus this activity is because when we change something, if it is reversible, then we call it as some change. It is if it is reversible. For example, activity 5.1. Okay, so we know that recycling of paper will take place. Okay, so what they do, they crush the paper, again they will try some liquid, and they will extract a paper, thin slice of paper, and then again they will cut and they give shape and they transfer in books. Okay, so that is also reversible, and it is this in here also it is reversible. So next activity 5.3. So take some ice in glass or plastic tumbler, melt a small portion of ice by placing tumbler in sun. So we need to take ice in glass and we need to melt the small portion of ice by placing the tumbler in the sun. So we have now a mixture of ice and water. Now place the tumbler in freezing mixer, ice plus common salt. So what will happen here? So does the water become solid once again? Yes, the answer is yes. So the water becomes solid ice once again when we place the tumbler in a freezing mixture, because it is a some change. So here again chalk powder into chalk, again ice which was melted, then we gave ice. So when we keep the ice in the sun, it melts into water, solid to liquid. Placing the tumbler into freezing mixtures lower the temperature further, causing the water to freeze again into soil, that is liquid to solid. So here it is also a reversible. Okay, so next activity 5.4. Boil some water in a container. Do you see the steam rising from the surface of the water? Hold an inverted pan by its handle over the steam at some distance from the boiling water. Observe the inner surface of the pan. Do you see any droplets of water there? So normally in kitchen we see these kind of things. So normally, when we boil something, the pan surface of the pan invert or below the pan, we will see some droplets. Okay, so do you actually see? Yes, we will see the droplets. Why we see the droplets? Because the surface of the pan as compared to the vessel both have different types of temperature, and when this water boils, when it touches the surface of the pan, due to the lowest temperature or the low temperature compared to the steam, it will start to condense and form water droplets. So when water boils, it turns into steam which rises up. The steam touches the cooler surface of the inverted pan. Okay, so see, very important cooler surfaces we already studied in 6th standard, condensation. Okay, so it condenses back into liquid water droplets. So it is also reversible. So activity 5.5. Hold a used hacksaw blade with a pair of tongs. Keep the tip of the free end of the blade on the gas stove. Wait for few minutes. Does the color of the tip of the blade change? Remove the blade from the flame. Observe the tip once again after some time. Does it get back its original color? So I think you have seen this kind of things in a blacksmith, where he takes an iron and he keeps in a heating procedure. Okay, after some times when it get back to a red hot, he will try to beat and give it a shape. Okay, so in here, when blacksmith tries to heat the iron, after some times its color changes. Its color changes to reddish type. Okay, so when you heat the tip of a hacksaw blade made up of iron or steel in a flame, the color of the tip changes. It may turn reddish, bluish, or grayish due to heating. After removing it from the flame and letting it to cool, what will happen? The color return to its original metallic look. So the iron, whatever he was heating, blacksmith was heating, the color changes it initially. After when he took out and if he tried to give a shape, and after that he will put it into water. After that, the shape is changed, but the iron is same. Okay, so from these activities, what we will know? Okay, so from these activities, from 5.1 and 5.2, we just focus on change in the shape, paper and chalk. So initially it was a big shape, or a particular shape. After cutting pieces it is a smaller shapes. Okay, then chalk, before it was solid or powder, after we giving a shape it was again solid. In activity 5.3 and 5.4, change it state, solid to liquid and gas to liquid. And in 5.5, change in color. Okay, so here the thing we need to know is there is change in the property of these kind of substances. Okay, so there is no new substances is formed, but their physical properties are changed. Which are those physical properties? Change in size or shape, change in state, or change in color. So this sums up to us is physical properties. What are physical properties? Physical properties are shape, size, color, state. Okay, so what is physical change then? Okay, a change in the physical properties of a substance. A change in the physical properties of a substance is called as physical change. We already know about physical properties, which are those: size or shape, state, color. Okay, so these are the physical properties. If in any substance, if the physical properties are changed, then it is called as physical change. In here, any new substances is created? No. No new substances is formed. And in physical change, it is usually reversible. So if I have a metal chain or gold chain, okay, so I will melt it and I will make a shape. Again, from that shape I can make any jewelry. So it is reversible. So physical change is reversible. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you all understood the topic of today's. If anyone has any kinds of doubts regarding about this topic, please let me know in the comments. Okay. So for more videos, please subscribe to our channel, that is Prerak Patashala. And if you want to update, or if you want to know the proper timings about these videos, please do touch the bell icon. Thank you.